than a great book. And that's true if you're 110 or 10. We've got folks here today talking about a new program called Ready to Read. It's not so new, but the outreach component is new, Nancy tells me. And we're going to tell you all about it. We're going to give you some resources, and we're going to let you know why you should be involved in this initiative. These folks are all from our library, our amazing library. It is like my favorite place in the world to hang out. And I have with us this morning Nancy Eames, who is the youth coordinator at the Toledo Lucas County Public Library.
That's right.
Nancy's been here a million times talking about books over the years. She's one of my favorite guests. She knows everything there is to know about children's literature, except maybe Kristen Brown, who is the children's librarian at the same place. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having
And the marvelous Rhonda Sewell.
Thank you
so
kind.
much. It is so good to see you, girl.
You as well, Donnie.
It
Thank
is-
you for having
Oh,
us.
absolutely. Rhonda is the media relations coordinator at the Toledo Lucas County Library. So, what's this all about, this Ready to Read program, Nancy?
Well, the Every Child Ready to Read program is actually a national initiative that started back in 2000. The Public Library Association and the Association for Library Service to Children developed this program. It's based in research, and it's a parent education initiative. It helps librarians help parents get their children ready for school.
Okay, and we're rolling this out all over?
Exactly, we are. Here's the thing, Donnie, that I'm so excited about Ready to Read. It is a van that will go out to the community. So there's a target area, which will be Central City locations. However, you know, economic deprivation affects everyone.
Everybody, absolutely.
And so it'll go to the suburbs. It will go to laundromats. There's a saying that says you meet people where they are.
Absolutely.
And you've been in the community so much, and you know there are many well-intentioned programs out there. This one has a transportation component that will go to the people. So childcare experts, parents, they will receive this much needed training, and that's what we're so excited about this program.
So is it a training program for parents, or is it a engagement mechanism for kids, or is it both?
It's a little of both.
a little bit of both of
And
those
we're
things?
also actually focusing on home child care providers as well. We think that the people who are with children every day have the biggest impact on whether or not those kids are ready for school.
So let me get this right then. So I am in my laundromat, and this wonderful van rolls up, and I get a chance to wash my clothes and learn how to teach my kids to read?
That's right.
Is that it?
Yes,
You're
it's as simple
kidding
as
me.
that.
That is amazing. So when does the program actually kick off?
It's already kicked
It's already off?
It's already kicked
We're
off.
late.
Well, no, you're not late because it kicked off this month.
Oh, cool.
So it kicked off this month, and we are just really excited about it. The other component of this program is that it is funded by our Library Legacy Foundation. I think that's very important to mention. The transportation element is wonderful. However, a lot of times the Toledo area has negative, things that people say about a lot of the donations that come in. We are one of the most philanthropic communities that I've ever
Isn't that true?
lived
That
in.
is so true.
That
So
I've ever
amazing.
lived in. And this is one of the largest campaigns. It's an early literacy campaign. And we're almost at 83% of our goal.
No kidding.
So that means there's a lot of people who really care about the community, and Kristen and Nancy can speak more about the state of Ohio, but a lot of our kids are not prepared when they enter kindergarten.
Thank you so much for that segue, because I was going to ask, of all of the things that are necessary in this community, why did you choose this particular issue?
Do you want to talk a little about the crawl and tell us what that is?
Yes, it's the Kindergarten Ready Assessment Learning. And kindergartners need to take this, they take it at the beginning of starting school, and it kind of assesses where they're at. There are some statistics that we have right here in Toledo that show that nearly 1/3 of children entering kindergarten are not prepared to start learning.
And another third of them are still underprepared. Teachers use the crawl test to see how much extra intervention and help kids are going to need when they get to kindergarten.
What are the skills that are measured by crawl?
Well, things like rhyming, not only do children entering have to be able to identify a rhyme, so if I say to you, which of these words rhyme? Cat, wall, ball. You would know that wall and ball rhyme.
On a good day, I would.
And then they also have to make a rhyme. Tell me a word that rhymes with Pat. And they have to come up with a rhyming word. They also have to know beginning letter sounds, especially the sounds in their own name. So you know how to spell your name, but what sound does a D make? That's a hard skill for children if they haven't had someone working with them on
But
that.
you know, I thought you learned these skills in kindergarten. Are you guys suggesting that you need to go to school, go to kindergarten prepared, Kristen, with
Yes.
this? Really?
Kindergarten is so different from what many adults, you know, remember from going to kindergarten.
Yeah, because like back in the old days, you know,
Play
When
and take a nap,
dinosaurs
right?
roamed the land when we went to school.
So they're expected to know so many things upon entering, and that's where we come in. We're going to have great materials that we are going to, you know, work with parents on how to use what we're giving to get their children ready. So if they don't think they have anything at home that's going to help their child get ready, this is where we come in. We want to work with parents one-on-one. You know, we can even work in large group settings. You know, gather, you know, some of your friends and give us a call. We'll meet you at one of our local branches or wherever public place is convenient for you, and you know, we will sit down and talk about the materials and how to use them.
And one of the things I want to add to that, Kristen is a parent of a little one at home. Kristen was reading to her little boy in the womb. This does not happen in all communities.
It really doesn't. No one, I mean, it actually, I mean, when you hear it without the knowledge as to why it's important, it sounds a little odd to say that, you know, to understand that it's important that you read to the child in the womb or that they listen to music while they're in the womb. But it is really a wonderful thing to do. It's a wonderful thing. And you found that it was helpful?
Yes,
Or it seemed to be helpful?
so far, you know, he's going to be 5 months next week, but
All right.
reading yet.
So
not
he's
reading
not
yet.
quoting Shakespeare just yet.
Right.
I think by 6 months he'll be, you know, talking. No.
But do you see some different response from him when you're reading to him?
Oh, I do, definitely. You know, his teachers at school have, you know, written to me. We, you know, in close correspondence with them, and they've written to me that when they look at books at school, you know, he's really concentrating on the pictures, and he's not just looking a little bit of everywhere. He's really focusing in on, you know, what's in front of him. You know, they're reading, we're talking about the pictures and pointing to different things and just trying to use different words with him to build his vocabulary, because that's another important component to, you know, success in school is how many, you know, words are in your child's vocabulary.
Yeah, and we know. I know your kids, and your kids are successful students, and you've been reading to them forever.
And the thing I love about, I have twins who are entering high school, so a long way off from from those days, but I do remember those. But I was reading when they were in the womb. I have been reading all throughout, and I love to come home and my kids, they self-read. You know, they're self-starters. So they will say, Mom, you know, can we go to the library? We need to check out the sequel to this particular teen novel that they're reading. I mean, it just
Isn't that
does my
wonderful?
heart
It's
so
wonderful.
so good when they do that, and not all kids do that.
Yeah. And you know the really important thing I think about this, I know this is true, this was true in my life, and I've said this a million times on this show, the library was the only place that my mother would allow me to go by myself. So I went there all the time, and it opens a whole new world for you. It really does let you know what the possibilities are. So your world changes from this core of just the people around you and the things around you to the Eiffel Tower, or you know, the million other things out there that.
And Donnie, we invite you to come on the van at some point, because you will be amazed at the type of books that the developers have selected. They are books that are culturally sensitive. There's bilingual books, we really did a lot to select books that have images that look like the children who will be
children.
served by this program. It's just a really wonderful thing. And like I said, there's well-intentioned initiatives out there, but this one really took the time to think through
figure it out.
every
To figure it out.
every step of the way.
So how do we let parents know that they need to do this? Part of me, as excited as I am about it, I am out and about an awful lot in this town, and I know that parents don't know that they are required or they should be at least engaging their children in reading before kindergarten. So what are we doing about that?
Well, that's
About letting
why
them
that's
know.
why we're going out, so that we can reach the parents who maybe don't use the library now to tell them about that. And reading is the most important thing you can do. It's the single best thing. But there's actually 5 pieces to our program. They're really simple things to remember, and our training emphasizes the way that you can use those 5 things.
Yeah, I think we actually have a graphic. Parents who complete the training will receive. Oh, that's actually the
Well, that's the
completion
kit.
thing. What are those things that
Talking
Yes, I saw
is
that.
so important. Singing, reading, we talked about. Writing, which you may not think about doing with your real little ones, and playing. And each of those 5 things helps with those early literacy skills. And we can talk more about each one because we've got lots of ideas about
Yeah, I
what
would
they-
like
what
to
they
do that because those are, you've identified them in your graphic. Thank you, Brian, for putting that up there, as the practices that we all need to get comfortable with in order to teach our kids to read. So what's talking got to do with that?
So I have a great story about talking. There are other libraries that are also doing the Every Child Ready to Read program. And one of my colleagues was telling a story about working with a group of teen moms, and they did some pre-testing with them, and they said, do you talk to your baby? And this young woman said, I don't talk to my baby. My baby doesn't talk yet. So after she went through the training and learned more about why talking to your baby, your preschooler, whatever age child, is so important, 4 months later, they asked her again, do you talk to your baby? And she said, oh yes, I talk to my baby all the time. I
time.
love watching his face respond, and he babbles back and talks to me. So what happens when you talk? Well, you're teaching vocabulary words. You're teaching story narrative. You're narrating the day. Kristen and I were talking about what happens when she takes her little guy to the grocery store. And what do you do?
Just talk about the things you're selecting.
Sure.
Should we buy the oranges today or the apples? And he's at the stage now where he's babbling back and forth. So I always give him that second to respond, so I'm not throwing too many words at him, and he's going, Mom, what are you talking about? But just give him
that
response,
opportunity and
then
that attention.
And then once he says something, respond back. Okay, I guess we'll get the apples, or oh, you want both today.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. There are 4 other areas that I'd like to talk about quickly, but we need to go to break right now, so you guys will stay with me,
Yeah,
and we will
sure.
be right back.